Hey there, YouTube. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope everybody had a lovely weekend out there. Got out of my little bubble yesterday and went down to Pensacola to pick up a few supplies that I needed. And yeah, nice day, quick trip down, but it was kind of good to get away for a little bit. Anyhow, today I want to talk about why you're failing on a raw food diet. Obsessed with details. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go down and hit that subscribe button now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you can come back and check out some more of my content and you'll stay subscribed to the channel. So, why are people failing so much on the raw food diet? Here's what I see online out there. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to do this lifestyle perfect. Hell, there's no 1,000 people that even agree what is perfect on this lifestyle. If you see the different factions, this person says, no, you need to do it this way. This person says you need to do it that way. There's not enough studies on this lifestyle. There's not enough groups of people who have lived like this for there to be definitive studies on anything. Yet, every day in social media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, I see people that are so focused on details and they're so sure about some of these minute details. And I am totally convinced, I've talked about this in videos before, I think that obsession over perfection in the details and doing everything right about this lifestyle is why people are not being more successful. It's like kind of turning into almost like, I was talking with a friend about this the other day and we were talking about various types of people, no people in specific, but the ones that kind of everything they post, it's got this religious dogma aspect of this lifestyle to it. And I've just never gravitated towards those. I like people that are open-minded. I like people that kind of have a spirit of exploration. I like people that are trying things and are just kind of learning their way along because that's how I've done this. Now, the one thing that, like I say, and I'm going to say this, if I have to say it in every single video I make until the end of me doing these videos, focus on that nutrition. I'm telling you, the most unsuccessful people on the raw food diet out there are the people that are, like I say, just obsessed with being raw. They're putting raw. I want to just state that categorically. Don't put this raw obsession ahead of good nutrition. And I'm definitely not that person online to critique diets, to argue diets, to tell people what they should be eating or why what they're eating is wrong. But I see it, it's sad, and you can predict where it's going to go, and you can predict where the person's going to be in a year because they're just not getting the nutrition that they need to sustain themselves on this lifestyle. You can probably get away with it for a while. I mean, in the early years in Costa Rica, I was probably trying to cruise too much just on eating fruit, and I wasn't making sure that I was getting a bunch of different things in there. And it is what it is. A lot of the fruitarians, they will not like to hear that message, but I've told you 1,000 times, if you are a hardcore, one of those religious raw food people, you're kind of wasting your time on my channel because my content's not going to change. My content's not going to change. And it's weird because I'll get comments from time to time. And if you go back and watch past videos, oh, you've changed, you're doing this now, or you were doing this before and you're doing that. No, I've never really changed. I've never changed. My message has never changed. I've never been raw is law. I've never been, oh, I have to eat fully raw. I've never made some jump from where I'm like, okay, now I'm eating more cooked. I've just always done what I feel like I need to do in the situation to get the nutrition that I feel like my body needs. So that's what I really am going to always focus on here, is get you to look at that big picture and get you to focus on that nutrition and get you to learn because you can't, if you will open your mind and not be so stubborn about this raw stuff, you will actually get to a better place, and you will get to a place of probably being more raw. Like I say, I like to take information from the cooked food people. I take way more of my information from cooked food sources, like I always mention Dr. Gregor's and and Dr. Furman, and I can't think of all the names sometimes of different people I read, but those are the kind of people that I get way more information than I do from raw food sources, because it resonates with me. Because they use terms, they use scientific terms, they use nutritional terms, they don't use these woo-woo made-up words that I've heard for 8.5 years in most of the raw vegan community. But once again, and then somebody will come along and they don't listen closely to what I'm saying, and I'm not throwing that raw vegan under the bus. The more raw I eat, the better I feel. That's a fact. Like I said, I'm in Alabama right now as opposed to being in Costa Rica. When I was in Costa Rica, I had access. I had this fresh fruit available all the time, all the time. If I'm standing in my house in Costa Rica right now, where I lived at the beach, right now, I could walk out the door, get on my bike, and I guarantee you I could find, I don't mean I'd have to put it in my house and let it ripen. I could find fresh papaya, I could find I could find ripe papaya, I could find ripe pineapple, I could find ripe bananas right now, this afternoon. So it was a much different story there, and I had that all the time, and I could get the calories in I need, and that's another reason I need lots of calories. This specific animal, I need lots of calories to get the nutrition I need and maintain my body weight. So, take what you, from me, from this person, from anybody on YouTube, from anybody on Instagram, from any groups you follow, whatever. I've talked about the process before too, and I'm not one. I mean, I'm not somebody here. Who am I to tell you what you should do and how you should spend your time? But why the endless debates? Like I see people that will question every detail. Why do you put, like, I'll mention like one ingredient. Oh, well, I put this in. Well, why do you put that in there instead of just focusing on the big picture? Or they want to argue, and I'm like, there's no reason to argue here. Don't argue. Just take what you want. Take what you can use and move on. I don't expect you to agree with everything I say. I don't expect you to agree with everything anybody says. I don't agree with everything that anybody says. I mean, I've got a lot of people in the raw food community that I respect big time. We talk all the time. I don't agree with them on 100% of the things they do. Yet I'm not like invalidating them and saying, well, they don't know what they're doing just because we don't eat everything exactly the same. So, kind of get out of that mentality. If you will step out of that mentality, and don't define your identity by how you eat, by this raw thing. I think that's what also hurts a lot of people too. They want community, and I understand that, because as vegans, especially as raw vegans, I hear vegans all the time, raw vegans, like they don't know anybody. They don't know anybody, nobody in their day-to-day life. So a lot of people that we all talk to every day, that we know the faces, the names, whatever, on social media, the internet, whatever, are the only people we know doing this lifestyle. So I can see that a little bit. And yes, you do want a little bit of community out there. All I'm saying is don't define yourself by that identity. Don't define yourself, oh, I'm raw. And I think a lot of times people get into their little raw communities and they join their raw groups, and they get so involved in there, and that becomes so much of their day to day, and maybe they've gotten a little too preachy, and they've preached the message that they won't do things that they know that are good for them, because then they're not one of the people in the group. Now I'm not preaching that hardcore fundamentalist, raw as law, washed in the blood message. So I think a lot of things like that factor in. Tunnel vision, people, tunnel vision. Your health, your ultimate health, your best version of yourself is at the end of that tunnel. Focus on that. Don't let any of the distractions. Use what you can. This person says something. This person over here, you post some food and they say, that's stupid. You shouldn't be eating this and that. Now you can waste the next 2 hours of your time online by explaining why you should eat this and that, and telling them why they're wrong for telling you why you shouldn't eat that. Or it can go in one ear and out the other, and you can just kind of focus that same time on actually learning something from people that know about nutrition, that know a little bit of science, that know about this lifestyle. So don't get too caught up in who you're taking your information from. Verify your information, see if plug that information into your common sense machine and see if it makes sense. But I'll finish off by telling you this. I got a lot of issues and problems in my life right at this point in time, but food ain't one of them. In fact, just the opposite. During this last year, when everything is so stressful and people are having anxiety, myself included, when people are dealing with depression, myself included, when times are tough, food is actually one of the few things that has kept me somewhat sane, somewhat centered. That's why, the comfort food, and don't be too hard on yourself and you're going to gain weight and eating comfort food. I don't even understand that shit during anxious times, during difficult times, because that's the only thing that's kept me a little bit, halfway sane. So anyhow, just kind of starting to wander a little bit now. But yeah, just don't get too caught up in those details. Just figure out the fundamentals of this lifestyle. Figure out the basics of this lifestyle. If you figure out the basic nutrition of this lifestyle, there's not one food. I mean, it's not like you're doing most things right, or you get these fundamentals and you're eating your fruits, you're eating your greens, you get sprouts, you're making sure, you're getting that nutrition, the vitamins, the minerals, and you're mostly doing that. There's not any one food. I love that all the time where somebody will ask about one particular ingredient in some food that I show, and it's like, maybe it is. Maybe it's not the best thing, but it's not going overpower everything else that you're doing, and it's definitely not what you should get, all caught up on. Or I'll share something, or I'll talk about a subject or something, getting into a subject, and say I'll have a salad, and there'll be a couple of potatoes on there. They won't even comment on anything else other in the video or in the post I made on Instagram about the subject that I posted about, which could be some good nutritional shit. Usually not from my own brain, but just something I'm regurgitating from somebody else. And what do they obsess on? What do they focus on? Well, why are you eating the sweet potatoes in there? So anyhow, your mileage may vary. And once again, I'm not telling you not to do you. I'm not telling you if raw, 100% fully raw is your thing. That's okay. Just make sure you're getting as much nutrition out of your raw food, your cooked food, or whatever is possible. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in a few days. Peace.